Golden Eagle fans, I hope you're ready because we've got the one and only Jeff Jenkins on the podcast. We are talking all things Badin, all things Golden Eagle football. We talk a little bit about how he came to be the coach. We talk about the culture of the program. We talk about what it's going to take to post a big win over Badin this week. I'm your host, Henry Conti, the communications coordinator of the Bellbrook-Sugarcreek School District, so stick around for the Eagle Eggs podcast. All right, Jeff, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. You are 68-19 as a head coach. I don't know if you knew that record right off the top of your head.
I did not.
So you've played Badin once, right?
Twice.
Twice?
We played them once in the playoffs in 2021, and then we played them in the regular season as well in 2021.
And the last playoff game was a rough one.
Yep.
Start off, what did you learn from that game? A lot of the players have turned over, but what, as we go forward looking into this week, what experience did we draw from that you think you can use this week?
We learned that we can compete with anybody. You know, we went toe-to-toe with, I think at the time, was the number one ranked team in the state. And went down to the wire. We kind of had them there, and we had a penalty late, and that's part of the game. It was unfortunate. We ended up giving up a score shortly thereafter, and that's how we lost the game in 2021 for regional championship. I think our players and coaches all took it the right way. We learned from it. We grew from it. I don't see us making those same mistakes moving forward.
When you're playing in games like that, there's only two ways you can take that. That either ends it for you or it drives you. What did you say to them after? How many players are still on the team from that? Do you remember? Do you know?
Quite a few.
Ballpark.
I mean, obviously, all the seniors right now were sophomores that year. Quite a few of them started that year, and they played in that game, so they have that experience with them. Our juniors on the team were freshmen, so they were probably pretty wide-eyed during the game to see a game of that caliber being played. They remember it. It's not something that has defined them by any means. It's just helped them, allow them to grow and continue to succeed.
I was close enough to hear a few of the things you said after you guys defeated Wilmington. But what message have you shared with them about what it was like a couple of years ago, what it'll be like this year so far?
We haven't spoken a whole lot about game 2 years ago. That's very much in the past. We're a different team now. They're a different team now. The experience is what we can take with us. The experience of playing in a big-time game, a regional championship caliber game, is what we took with us and the lessons that we learned. And we certainly learned that we can't harm ourselves in those big games, that we got to make the big plays in those sort of games. And that's really what we did against Wilmington. We came out, we were the aggressor. We made the big plays when we needed to, and it showed by the score at the end of the game. Now, Badin is a team this year. They're not going to hurt themselves. They don't have a weak spot on their team. So really, we've talked a lot about what we have to do. We've identified their strengths, which are many, but our focus is always what do we need to do? How do we need to prepare so we can be successful on Friday night?
When Badin runs the ball, and they do so often, it's in the hands of Lem Grayson and Zach Yorty. Grayson has run for 707 yards and 12 scores this year, while Yorty has 567 yards and 9 scores. They've run for 1,687 yards as a team. So what do you need to do?
We need to be overly prepared mentally. We need to be emotionally ready for this game. It's going to be a huge game. And, we have to play with a tremendous amount of heart. We maybe don't have the same size or the roster that they have. So you make up for that with a tremendous amount of heart, which I think our kids show every single Friday.
Is there something specific, and I know you're not going to want to share too much, but something specific you're going to try to take advantage of going into this game?
It's our experience. We played a loaded schedule this year for this specific reason. We played the Altar and Miamisburg and Valley Views and Tip City with our non-conference to accomplish two things: to get us ready for our league play, which certainly did its job there. We won the league championship this year, and to get us ready for playoffs. And once we meet up with these big-time teams such as Badin, I think the experience of playing Alton, Miamisburg, and those teams really gave us a good feel for what it's going to be like to play a team of that caliber.
Mm-hmm. What, if you had to guess, you've seen game film, obviously.
Hours and hours and hours.
What are they going to try to bring at you in terms of, I guess, what are they going to try to take advantage of, if you had to guess?
Well, they're going to be who they are. Some teams, once they get to playoffs, they kind of change up who they are, and that's not them. They're going to run the same defense. They run a 4-4 defense. That's what they've been running for, I think, 30 years now. They're very balanced on offense. Pass for about 1,800 and rush for about the same, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to continue to do the things that have allowed them to be 11-0 going into our game. So we don't anticipate a whole lot of change from them. They're good at what they do, and good teams stick to what they do.
Who are we, as casual fans, who should the Eagle faithful be worried about?
Our philosophy is always kind of we got to worry about ourselves first.
Right.
We got to take care of ourselves. But yeah, certainly, their quarterback is a great quarterback. He actually came in during the 21 game. Starting quarterback of that game broke his hand. He came in and played exceptionally well and led them to a state title game, which they did lose. He's been the starter ever since. So his experience obviously is something that is a big advantage for him and his offense and his team. So, we certainly have to keep him in check.
That quarterback is Alex Ritzy. Alex has thrown for 1,651 yards this year and 14 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's an efficient passer, completing 144 balls out of 193. His top target, Aiden Brown. Aiden Brown has caught 32 passes for 567 yards and 9 touchdowns. His second favorite target is Austin Buckle, 32 catches, 327 yards, and 4 scores. Let's talk about you for a minute. Just give me a little bit of background on you. Obviously, you graduated from Bellbrook High School. Yep. Everybody knows that at this point. What were your steps from that point? You went to Wilmington, right?
Yep. Played linebacker.
Okay.
Played linebacker for 4 years at Wilmington College, and it was a great experience for me, a great learning experience. Wouldn't trade a day of it. I miss it very much. I miss being a player, and I guess being a coach is as close as I can come to being out on that field.
You walk the sidelines like you're still a linebacker.
Yeah.
Where'd you go from there?
Did my student teaching at Clinton Massey, and then they hired me on shortly thereafter. Spent about 7 or 8 years there, and I couldn't ask for a better start into education and coaching. A great experience for me. Relationships that have lasted for many, many years after I left there. I was hired by a great man by the name of Jim Brady and Ron Ruddick, who was the assistant superintendent and the superintendent at the time, and gave me a shot as a young guy coming out of college. I'm super appreciative of that. But from a athletic standpoint, to be with one of the best football programs in the state of Ohio, if not the country, in Clinton Massey, was a huge benefit for me and allowing myself to grow as a coach. I coached a little bit of everything while I was there. I coached track. I coached 8th grade football. I coached high school swimming. A lot of people don't know that about me. But then eventually I did coach high school football with the varsity squad there my last year at Clinton Massey, which was a great experience.
Yeah.
After Clinton Massey, I came here in 2012 as a coach. I was still teaching at Clinton Massey. I just felt that was the best move for me individually. If I was going to move up the ranks in coaching. And, I had a real good talk with the current coach at the time, Kevin Basinger, about what my goals were and where I wanted to be in 3 to 5 years. And he was very supportive of that. Yeah, kind of the rest is history. 3 years in, I became a defensive coordinator. And then 5 years, I became the head coach back in 2016.
And then he came and coached for a little while under you.
And then Kevin came back and coached for a couple of years.
Actually, I knew Kevin when I was bopping around this area as a sports writer in Xenia. Okay. So I doubt if he actually remembers me, but we met a couple times, covered a couple of his games, and he was always a great guy to be around and talk football with. So, Coach, one of the big things for you as a coach has been the culture of the program, trying to make sure everybody's moving in the right direction, playing together, playing as a team. I know that's the bedrock of what you do here. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
I absolutely love where our culture is at as a team. I think I have one of the hardest working teams in the state of Ohio. I think our kids understand it, what it takes to be successful. I think they've got a proven track record that would say that our culture is in the right place. They just won their 4th straight league title. And our philosophy is very simple. We're trying to outwork the competition every single day.
Yeah.
We certainly have goals that are end-of-the-year goals, league titles and playoff wins and regional titles and state title, all that stuff. But our focus is always on how do we be the best today? How can we outwork everybody in the state of Ohio today, Tuesday's practice? How can we do things better than everybody else is doing them? Our kids have bought into that. They work insanely hard. Talk a lot about this in the off season. I think we have an off-season program that is second to none that allows these kids to maximize their potential. They believe in it. They love being in there. They love pushing the weights around and pushing themselves and each other. And we really have tied that into our success, and they understand it. Typically, we don't always have the biggest or fastest kids on the field. Our kids are definitely some of the toughest. There's no doubt about that. And I think that's something that's just ingrained in them from day one, being a part of this program, that if you're going to be a Bellbrook football player, you're going to work extremely hard. You're going to put the team first. And if you do those sort of things, you do them consistently, we'll find a lot of success.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about Focus 3. How much of that has been kind of ingrained and used by you and your staff?
That has been great. We actually did 3 sessions with our players in the summer, and we broke them off by class, and they were each about an hour-long session. And to hear some of the players and coaches use some of the terms that we used in those sessions, such as we don't want to hear the BCD, and then they start calling each other out on it, when somebody's making an excuse for not getting the job done.
Yeah.
So it's really been a big hit with our program. We still talk about those things. We're going to continue to implement, those sort of principles from Focus 3 and continue to grow in that area.
Great. Coach, if you guys are to be successful, you're going to have to lean on the seniors quite a bit this game and the one after that, and hopefully the one after that. Talk about what they have meant to the program this year.
Well, they've been a great deal to the program the last 4 years. They made history this year, winning their 4th straight league title. They've been a part of, I believe, 7 playoff wins now in their 4-year career. Their experience with winning and playing in big games is so hard to replicate. I just think that allows you to be prepared for the moment when the moment arises. It's going to be a big-time game against Badin with, just huge implications moving forward. We know if we can beat a team like Badin, that we can certainly make a run at the big one. So the seniors have been absolutely incredible. They've set a great example for the young players, and hopefully they allow this cycle to continue. The cycle of being successful and expecting to win league championships, expecting to get back into the playoffs and win playoff games. And they've made that the standard, and that's the legacy that they leave, and hopefully they can continue to build on that legacy here for the next few weeks.
Yeah. Time for the flyby. We're going to go right into it. Lightning round. I'm going to start with favorite food.
Is it desserts or what we got here?
Whatever.
That's where my mind goes to.
Same.
Cheeseburger. Bacon cheeseburger. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. What's favorite drink?
Oh, man. The kids will probably call me out for this, but I do like the C4 drink.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Man, tremendous question. Movies are my thing, man. That's
okay.
I pride myself on watching about 3 movies a week. So there's so many. Anything Tom Hanks is really good, obviously. Shawshank Redemption right up there.
Yeah.
But I really like the movie Lone Survivor, which was the story of Marcus Luttrell. So that movie really hit home for me.
Gotcha. Fun fact, Shawshank Redemption, Clancy Brown used to be my boss.
Oh, no kidding.
I used to work for a company by the name of Brown Publishing, actually owned Xenia when I worked here.
Really?
And the hardest screw to ever walk a turn at Shawshank Prison, Clancy Brown, was my boss by extension, but he was my boss.
That's tremendous.
One of the owners. Favorite emoji? What's the go-to emoji?
I don't even know how to use my cell phone half the time. So my favorite emoji is the fist pound sign. That's my go-to.
Favorite quote? Something you go to when you need a little inspiration or something you say to the team a lot?
It's really, actually, it's a Bible verse. I believe it's 2 Timothy 1:7. God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. So that's something that I go to a lot personally.
And if you could go back to when your career first started, what would you tell yourself, and would you listen?
I would have told myself, you need to relax, because I made the mistake. I was pretty young when I got this head coaching gig, and I wanted it all right then and there. I wanted the league titles and playoff runs immediately, and it took time. It took us time. It took us 3 years to win our first league title. We went 10-0 in 2018. The first 2 years we went 7-3. Solid seasons, but I wasn't taking care of myself very well. Really letting the stress of the job get to me. Since then, I've kind of changed my ways and my approach. I'm still going to put in the same amount of hours and work, but when I leave football, that's where I leave it. When I go home, it's about focusing on my kids and my wife, and just being present in that moment instead of letting football absolutely consume me 24/7.
Would you listen?
No. No, I wouldn't have listened back then.
No. Being young and impetuous is difficult. But, all right, Jeff, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's the details. Bellbrook is the away team against Badin. The game will be at Fairfield Stadium, 1579 Stadium Drive, Fairfield, Ohio, 45014. Stadium gates open at 5:30. The game starts at 7. Parking will be $5. Tickets to the game are $12 for adults, $9 for students. The game will be streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/@BadinHSSports. But we want you there. Please come out and enjoy. Weather's going to be 55, so a little bit nicer than we've had early this week. And you can purchase tickets at ohsaa.org/tickets. We hope to see you there, and go Eagles. Hey, are you still there? Are you still listening? If you are, do me a favor. Like, follow, and subscribe. That's the best way to get our updates when we do special episodes like this one. Go Eagles.